So I received this today, this Nepalese bowl, about 5 inches diameter. It's a machine-made bowl. So um, I don't know whether it's been pressed out. It's quite thick and it's quite heavy, so I don't think it could have been spun out. I think my first thought was it had been cast. Anyway, here goes. So it's quite a good sound, but it is just a sound, which is in some ways is good. It means it's not very complicated. If you wanted to use it for meditation, simply to act as a borderline, a kind of border point of saying, right, I'm going to stop what I've previously been doing, and now I'm just going to meditate. That meditation could be breathing, or could just be concentration, dhyana. And in that way, you don't want the distractions of having a bowl which has very precise energies. Now, the thing about the precise energies is obviously relates to Shakti. That relates to immediately, therefore, we are into the tantric area of sound. But with this, that's not the case. It's just a sound. Machine made, off the shelf. Nobody has hammered this bowl. Nobody has put any intent into it, even if that's frustration or whatever. But a master bowl maker would, every hammer blow, there would be the intent, there would be a conscious effort to transmit some energy from their own soul into the creative act, and therefore into the result of that act, which is the bowl that is made, the hammered bowl. So even the sound of this is quite direct and quite simple. Hammered bowl would have many complicated tones, and because of the different thicknesses, the variation in thickness of the metal, of the surface of the metal, which is being set into vibration, into resonance. Whereas this would have a more uniform spread of material and thicknesses and whatnot, and so it has a much simpler sound. There are less complicated overtones. It's quite a good sound. It rings on for quite a while. We can see it's quite similar to the Japanese rin bowl in its basic shape. I would say with the rin bowl is a different colour, so it could well be a slightly different alloy. And the rin bowl does not have a thick rim. This has a slightly thick rim. I mean, it isn't huge. It's not very thick. It's probably 3/16. I know it's just under. I would say it's under a quarter of an inch, but it could be a quarter of an inch. It's thicker, maybe twice as thick as the Japanese rin bowls, or ukinarishi, as I used to know them from old recordings and that. So it awakens quite a few issues of interest, this bowl, from the point of view of contrasting it to the old bowls, or the hammered bowls, or the hand-hammered bowls, and this machine-made bowl. Very interesting. This is a Japanese rin bowl. It's in earlier books that I've read, it's called ukinarishi. It's a little bit bigger than the Nepalese bowl that I had. I've had this bowl getting on for 30 years now, and it was an antique when I bought it, and it hasn't really changed colour in that time, so I don't know how old it is. It is machine made, as was the Nepalese. It's thinner than the Nepalese bowl, and thinner at the rim than the Nepalese, even though the Nepalese is smaller in diameter. Here we have a Chinese ducking or king. Another bowl, similar, probably again about the same size as the ones we've seen. This is hammered, possibly machine hammered, but it is hammered and has a thick rim again. Quite a different sound to the others. More mellow, I would say. These come in a range of sizes, but probably I've got them down to 3 inches and up to 16 inches diameter. They are bigger, they can become bigger, certainly for temples and things. So these have been around a very long time. But this was a new one, which I bought in the 1970s. And as I say, you can see here the hammer marks. This is a Burmese singing bowl from Burma, and one of the first I ever received. I received a set of 3 of these in 1971. This was a gift to the grandmother of a friend of mine at the turn of the 20th century, so the early 1900s. So this bowl is most certainly 100 years old, and yet there is very little sign of aging. It's very hard to tell. This is the closest I can get to the others in size for comparison. I've used the same stick each time to strike the bowl and the same cushion. And this again is a deeper sound. It has a thick rim. Otherwise, the characteristic of these bowls is to have this darkened area. On every one of these that I have, it has the same design. We have a bowl from Assam, which is slightly bigger than the others. This is a bowl from Bhutan, quite similar in shape to the one from Orissa and to some of the others.